Okay, so I'm Matt, joined today by Leo, otherwise known as AzarayGeo. Have I pronounced that right, Leo?
That's right.
That's right. How are you doing?
Just good. I'm good. Thank you.
Grand. So we're going to look through your weighted Ferocious Cup run.
That's right.
And you had a bit of a special team. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah. So because most of the Pokemon in the Ferocious Cup meta were pretty, to put it plainly, rubbish. Like you would power them up and never use them again. Things like Lanoon and Furret and Vaporeon, Bibarel. We did see Bibarel once again, I think.
Yeah, Toxic. It was pretty big.
In Toxic. But other than Bibarel, nothing was kind of used again. So I decided to only power up shinies because then I feel that I get a bit more investment in the dust. But also at the same time, there was Captain Charizard's been really helping a lot getting the community into PvP and teaching them about like the importance of IVs and stuff like that. But I also wanted to say, obviously because these are shinies, the IVs are quite awful.
Sure.
Apart from the Shelgon, which was a rank 95, everything else was like 2000-ish.
Wow.
Yeah, so I also wanted to kind of make a point that IVs aren't the most important thing. So I was trying to show that you can still do well without having, good PvP IVs. And
yeah.
So that was the kind of two goals that I was making with this team. So I ran Umbreon, which was a kind of staple in every team. I didn't have Last Resort on it though, so I never really used it because if I ran into the mirror, I would just straight up lose. So it was just kind of, I only had it there to kind of bait out the fairy,
right?
Which was Ninetales, because if I never had it in my team, they'd never use it.
Sure.
Next, I had Shelgon, which does really well against everything other than the fairies, with its like Dragon Breath.
Yep.
And it's quite tanky.
It sort of acts as a replacement to Umbreon, if I remember rightly, as a sort of generalist.
Yeah, I guess it does. It's a pretty solid safe switch as well, unless they switch in Fairy. But because of its bulk, I can manage to get a Flamethrower off before dying to Charm. So I either take a shield or I take the Ninetales. Next was Lairon, which wasn't really seen in many teams, but it was quite good because it can just farm down the fairy. Because no one was using, no one was really using Grand Bull, and Alolan Ninetales is fairy and ice, I believe, which is double weak to steel. Yep. So you can just farm it down, and you resist the charm and resist all the charge moves. So you can just farm it down and have like 2 body slams ready for the next Pokemon, if you can line it up properly. Shiny Bibarel wasn't available, so I used Shiny Vaporeon. I did manage to evolve one of those during Community Day, so I did have the Last Resort on that.
Nice.
Couldn't get a Shiny Ninetales, so I used Shiny Granville, which is slightly less bulky.
Yeah.
So if I do run into Ninetales, I kind of have to. What I try to do is go up to Crunch and then switch out, so I can use that later.
Okay.
And for it, it's a bit of a generous as well. It can spam with Brick Break, which is a really fast charging move, but it's quite weak. And I decided to run Hyper Beam on it instead of Dig, which threw quite a few people off as well. So,
cool.
Yeah, that's my team.
Cool.
I played around with Shiny Lanoon as well, which was another shiny I had, but it felt kind of lacking. It its moves are very dangerous, but with 2 shields, it doesn't really. Your opponent will just double shield and just water gun you down or fast attack you down. So
yeah, and that's big because in this competition, switch advantage really was quite key, especially with things like Charmers versus Umbreon or Shelgon.
Yeah, I'd say switch advantage is really important, but I also think shield is quite important as well. I think if you have a shield advantage, I think you can kind of sweep if you're not hard countered by anything. If you have, for example, 2 shields against the opponent's 1, and it's like neutral matchups, you can squeeze a win.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're not hard countered by anything. Yeah.
So this was Ferocious Cup, which was the second cup of this season.
Yeah, October, I think.
Yeah. The first one was Sinister, which you went. I think you did the same as me, 6-2 in London, didn't you? I think.
Oh, did you go 6-2 as well?
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, that was in London.
Yeah, that was a great day. But so obviously this early on in the season, the rankings hadn't really solidified.
That's right.
Well, while we're doing this now, you're currently 3rd in the UK and floating around the top 100 globally.
Yeah.
Had this been now, do you think you'd have still taken this approach, or do you reckon you'd have put a bit more dust in and gone with the core meta?
Yeah, I if we had what's the cup? If we had Forest Cup in November, I probably wouldn't do an all shiny team. But also right now I am like really like rich in dust because GBL's been free and there's been a lot of incense events and stuff, so I'm kind of sitting at like 1 million dust, which is really weird for me because I'm usually like spending all the dust I have for the Sylph Cup and then saving up for the next, and then I'm back at 0. So I'm always quite poor. So yeah, I would probably, run something more meta like Nidoqueen and Bibarel and Umbreon and Alolan Ninetales rather than the team I have right now. Yeah. So but even when I was watching the videos just in preparation for this, I was kind of cringing at like the mistakes I was making and like, I could have switched there, or why didn't you do this? So yeah, a lot of things have changed since then.
Yeah, no, I was looking back the other day on my videos from that Sinister Cup, and I exactly the same feeling as you. Like mistakes were made. I think a lot of people have come a long way this season so far.
Nothing like major, but like little tiny things like, I could have switched there instead of letting them farm me, or I could have, just farmed them down instead of using my energy there. Just little tiny things that help you push for the win, basically, because I think Pokemon Go, especially with the higher level it gets, it's you win by very fine margins.
Yeah, agreed. Well, let's get into round 1 then. So round 1, Granticle Poke. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So their team: Vaporeon, Ninetales.
You have it here. Perfect.
Yep. Vaporeon, Ninetales, Lairon, Umbreon, Skuntank, Bibarel.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I was quite surprised actually when I saw a Lairon, because no one was running it other than myself, and this was at the end of the month and I hadn't seen one yet. So it's really weird whenever I come across an off-meta Pokemon, especially one that I've used, I don't really know what to do against it because I've not really like I guess it's weird to say, but you know what you should do as a Lairon against their team, but you never you don't expect it the other way around.
Yeah, you don't know if your opponent's going to play it the same way, do you?
Yeah. And also, I've not played against Lairon, and I guess playing with Lairon and against Lairon isn't the same. So yeah, I think my general strategy was using Shelgon as a safe switch, if I remember. I'm not sure if I did it in this first game.
Well, let's have a look.
Yeah, let's have a look. But generally I like leading Fairy. And if I like mess that up, then I switch out, or I like leading Shelgon.
Yeah, well, there's the Shelgon lead versus Skuntank.
Yeah, so I'm pretty confident that I can win this if I just use my shields, because Dragon Breath is pretty oppressive. I think most people run Flamethrower and Dragon Pulse, which takes a bit more energy. So I use the Twister just for like a little bait.
Okay.
And then there is the Lairon against the Ninetales. I don't have to use any shields. Ice Beam does do more damage, but Psyshock does way less. But even Ice Beam I would have survived.
Yeah.
And then I can have like 2 Body Slams, or I can Shield Bait or Rock Slide, like I did there. And Rock Slide actually does quite a lot of damage because of the stab.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
So even Vaporeon, who's quite tanky. Now I've got shield advantage. Gramble definitely needs shields.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I was predicting an Aqua Tail, so I didn't really shield that, and I can just farm this down and then quickly switch out, so I don't get poison stinged, or poison jabbed. And that's the game.
Cool.
Yeah,
I used Gramble in Rose Cup. I used, and then quickly discovered that it needs shields, but it can be really devastating with them.
Yeah.
Not such a great lead this time.
Yeah, so here's what I was saying with what to do against against Lairon. I knew if I brought my Lairon in, their Bibarel would come in and just wreck me. So I just hoped to go for a Flamethrower unshielded. Unfortunately not. But even though the Dragon Breaths are resisted, I'm doing quite a lot of damage to it.
Yeah.
And I did let 1 Body Slam through. So I think I go for the Flamethrower again, but we CMP tie. And back then CMP tie was random. It was like a 50-50. It wasn't attack stat. So it was a bit BS. Oh, sorry, it was a bit BS at the time. So I should have. It goes unshielded, so that's fun. But I'm at a shield disadvantage here, and
Bibarel with the water gun damage.
Yeah.
And it's not looking good.
You can see you're gonna see just how reliant Gramble is on shields here, because this Surf pretty much just kills it. And with a shield and these super effective water guns, it's pretty much GG from here.
Yeah, wow. To be honest, I was surprised that didn't kill the Lairon.
What didn't kill the Lairon?
The Surf in one hit from there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So down to the decider.
Yeah. And so I go for Gramble lead this time and fail. I tried to switch here, and I don't know if you remember, but the switch mechanics were way different. They changed it during that time. It's like you can't switch if you're in the middle of an attack. So if you're using Confusion or Charm, you're just kind of screwed. You just have to wait, because if you try to switch during the attack, it just cancels the switch and it just goes down, as you saw there. So I switch into Furret here, and I guess he thought it was Dig, so he shielded that and double shielded the Break, which was pretty good. And then comes in the Vaporeon. And so at this stage, I'm thinking if I can shield this, I can try to get a Hyper Beam off. And here it comes, the first Hyper Beam. And it's quite devastating with stab. It's pretty good.
Yeah, nice.
Very satisfying. And I think I managed to get a Break here just before I go, which does a decent amount.
Yeah, but when you consider it such a bad move,
yeah. But we're at this scenario again with Gramble no shields. and I think I get 1 charm off or 2 charms off before dying, and I barely managed to kill this before getting a surf off, which is unfortunate. And I assumed he had energy here, so I just like spammed this body slam.
Sure.
But unfortunately doesn't kill it. And
but yeah, he has energy, so you wouldn't have reached the
yeah.
grassland.
So if that surf didn't hit, I think I would have taken that game. But
yeah,
very close.
As we were saying,
at the end.
Fine margins.
Yeah, fine margins for sure. But it's like what I was saying before. It was like I just wasn't really sure what to do with Lairon, because I don't think I brought in Vaporeon once in those 3 games, if I remember. Yeah. So yeah.
So I guess you were possibly even expecting not to see it. I mean, I know it's a long time ago now, so.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's hard to say whether I was predicting it wouldn't be coming or not. Yeah. But it was more. It's more like what I was saying before. I just, when I see a Pokemon that isn't part of the meta, like an anti-meta Pokemon like that, I just not really sure what to do with. Even if it's on my team, because I've never had to deal against it. Yeah. So it's a bit weird to put that in your calculations, especially when you see the same 5 Pokemon in every team.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You don't want to over prepare for it, because then if they don't bring it, you're sort of messed up a little bit, aren't you? But, yeah. So uphill from here though.
Yeah. So I lost the first round. I think it was a 5-round cup. Yeah.
And then round 2, you're against Hawkwings.
Yes.
We've got the Nidoqueen, the Ninetales, the Bibarel, and the Umbreon, which were the meta. And then Delcatty and Donphan, which were sort of on the fringes. Yeah,
Delcatty learned Charm at the time, and that's actually a hundo, so that's a level 40 Delcatty.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Ferocious was definitely the dust spending cup, because like Bibarel I think is like level 35, and Furret and Lanoon, they're all like high level 30s. So very, very high dust requirement for a lot of these Pokemon. I think I have a hundo Delcatty as well, but it's still very, very low level.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I was worried about was Donphan, because it had counter.
Yeah.
So it could beat my Lairon, and it could beat my Furret and Umbreon, but I wasn't using Umbreon anyway.
Your opponent doesn't know that.
No, my opponent doesn't know that, which is why I think he ended up bringing Ninetales almost every game. But yeah, this is kind of my main strategy. Just kind of try to bait out the Fairy, and try and just farm it with Lairon.
Cool. Well, let's have a look then.
Yeah, it is quite lead dependent though as well. Yeah. So I think I lead Shelgon again. Or okay. So now we're gonna see Gramble with shields, which is much better.
Yeah, different animal.
So you can just shield here, and if he doesn't switch, he's just gonna get destroyed. And it was quite a strategy to hurt the enemy fairy and then come in with your fairy, because after having like a health advantage, you can kind of win with the charms.
Yep.
But I had a hard counter for his, and then I'm up on energy as well, so I can just double body slam this, or not quite, because I did get those charms off on the Ninetales. And he is going to double shield just to get rid of this. And I did have a crunch ready. I think that's what I did. I switched out after loading up my crunch.
Sure.
And then the Donphan, I brought Vaporeon for, just in case. So
nice.
Pretty.
Oh, no shield.
No shield.
Seemed a bit early for an earthquake, didn't it, to be fair?
Yeah, I was confident it would survive. I guess I was flexing as well a little bit. I was confident I'd survive the earthquake. I think I bring in the Shelgon this time. There we go in the lead. And he leads Bit Barrel again. But it's pretty much the same. He switches in and I switch out for my Lairon. Just farm it down, no needs. I think this time it uses Ice Beam, which does a lot more damage than Side Shock, but I can still survive it. And I think here I'm gonna try to bait the Rock Slide, but he's not as low as he was before, so I guess he doesn't. I think I was saying, "Oh wow, you're really brave, not shielding those Rock Slides," but I don't think not many people knew what Lairon had anyway.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So I can pretty much farm this down, and I think he had it there,
right?
But he didn't really click it. So with his last Pokemon, there's no point going for the Flamethrower because I'm pretty sure he's just going to use his shields as a last desperation. And just keep my shields for the Furret.
So what's Furret's quick move?
Quick attack. His quick move is quick attack. Yeah. Yeah, and he dances. It's great. I love his little attack animation. It's cute.
Yeah, quick attack. It charges fairly fast, doesn't it? I remember using.
Yeah, it's got a high energy gain. It's not massive, but it's above average.
And I guess that's important when you're going for hyper beams.
Yeah, it's good. I think I actually go for a hyper beam here, and what I like. Okay, I do shield. Okay, I think I'm thinking of another game. But I get most Umbreons won't shield their first attack, so I just go Hyper Beam immediately.
Yeah.
And then I shield, I think. No, I think I shield in the next attack. I don't know why he went Last Resort there. I think foul play is always the way to go, unless you're fighting in the mirror. And I think it's just kind of a race at this point on who can get to the charge moves.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean he still had a shield as well, so he was just over farming and threw me off, I guess. But from here with a shield advantage and switch advantage, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, not much to worry about when you're 2-0 up though, is there?
Yeah, I think that's what he did. I think a lot of people, when they lose their first two games, they just completely change their team in the third one. Just sort of why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was really good of him just to switch there, just so that he can pair his Nidoqueen with the better matchup against the Fairy. I tried to bait for the shield there. And I think he used the Surf as well, but I think when I was watching that, I think he forgot I didn't have shields.
Sure. It can happen.
Yeah, so he goes for the Hyper Fang here.
Yeah.
So.
And there's the shieldless Gramble again. Oh, do you get does a crunch kill here? Too much health.
Too much. And I think it resists close combat as well, so because of the poison typing. But pretty close.
Yeah, especially considering you were down switch and shield advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. Not much I can do.
So you're back up at 1-1 now.
Yeah. So slowly climbing.
Yeah. Game 3, SRG 203.
Yes,
203.
That rhymes now that I hear it out loud.
So they've got Umbreon, Linoone, Ninetales. It shows Bidoof here, but I'm guessing it's Bidoof.
Yeah, I think he missed a little error there, but yeah, that's Bibarel. I'm assuming it was definitely Bibarel.
Skuntank and Nidoking.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting it to be a legacy Fury Cutter Nidoking.
I think it's only Nidoqueen that had the legacy Fury Cutter, or is it both of them that had it?
Nidoking certainly has legacy Fury Cutter.
Okay, I think Nidoqueen had it as well.
Oh, okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's a poison jab one.
Right.
I think the reason why he brought it was because it's like his favorite signature Pokemon.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But the Lairon, you know, because it double resists poison, so it's really good against Skuntak and the Nidoqueen and the Nidoking. Obviously, it needs shields for the Earth powers or Earthquakes.
Yeah.
But it pretty much can handle 3 of those Pokemon, and with shields, it can beat Lanoon. So I was definitely bringing that in. And then I think leading Fairy or Dragon again. Cool. Yeah, because it's like the Fairy can beat everything that isn't poison, and the Dragon can beat everything that isn't Fairy. Yeah. So they're pretty good leads.
They play off each other nicely.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look.
One or the other. So yeah, there's a Shelgon and resist the water gun, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, really.
Need to watch out for the Hyper Fangs. So I go straight Twister here, and I actually get a shield.
Yeah, the Dragon Breath damage really adds up really fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I felt it was a bit too early for Hyper Fangs. I took a bit of a risk there.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, it did.
But I think from here I kind of have to shield because it would just kill me if I don't. And I've been matching shields, and I just farm it down because I know he won't get to another one because he just used it there. I go straight Flamethrower just to throw him off.
Yeah, you don't want the
but he actually just shields, so that was pretty good. And then I come in with Lairon here, and resisting the poison jabs, I can just take a good advantage here. I didn't really need to shield it. I would have survived it.
I guess it's sensible not knowing what their third one is at this point in time.
I guess I want it healthy. Yeah, Rock Slide does a lot of damage, but he actually brings both in, so it does quite a lot, and it resists Rock Slide because of the ground typing. So I have to go Body Slam here.
Body Slams, yeah.
But I think Earth Power is just gonna completely wipe me out here.
Obliterate you twice over that would, yeah.
Yeah, but I have a full health for it, and I can finish the game.
Nice.
Yeah, so Lairon really coming in handy there, with the double poison. So that was good.
I bet having the shiny Nidoking was probably one of the reasons he brought it as well.
Yeah, favorite and shiny.
Yeah.
So in this matchup, I lose. I just get out bulked. So what I try to do is switch out just before I die, and then farm it down before they can switch out, because I know the switching is so clunky. So I'm kind of using that to my advantage, but then I couldn't even get it off myself.
Yeah, bit of a risk, but yeah, if it comes off, it's a great play, isn't it? So
so baiting the Rock Slide here. Will I shield again? Yes, I think it could have been Flamethrower, right? I think that's why I shielded, because it knows Flamethrower.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty sure every Skuntank had Flamethrower and Crunch, because I don't really think you needed Sludge Bomb for anything.
No, yeah, the poison jabs were doing plenty of damage to their fairies, weren't they?
Yeah, so took a bit of risk there, and then I can pretty much kill this with Rock Slide because it does like half of its health.
Nice bit of over farming there as well.
Yeah. And then he comes in with Lanoon, and because I know it's 5 Shadow Claws to Grass Knot, I kind of counted and made sure I can get to Rock Slide.
Nice.
He should have just farmed me down here, for sure. Because then he can double Grass Knot this, because now with his shield there's no way. I don't think a Grass Knot would have killed him from full health anyway.
No, I don't think so.
If I had like a water Pokemon, then
it could have made a difference, couldn't it?
It could have made a difference for sure. But I resist the Shadow Claws as well, so another game.
So 2-0 again, so we're expecting different stuff.
Expecting a complete So I was actually kind of surprised that the Nidoking's attack was keeping up with my Dragon Breath. Nidoqueen is like the bulkier one, and Nidoking's the more like aggressive one. So like you can see even though Dragon Breath is such a crazy damaging move, his poison jabs are keeping up, which is pretty
it's impressive,
insane.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So I had to kind of use my I wanted to use my move there because I didn't want to get poison jab down.
Sure.
Just let him go here, and then coming in with Furret. And this is a bit of a tricky one because the surfs do a lot of damage, and Bibarel is quite bulky. These breaks are going to do super effective, but it's not like amazing. It's quite a weak move.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised he didn't shield that. So he kind of like forcing me to shield, and because of that shield here, he's going to be able to win. And I did try to get to the Hyper Beam there.
Yeah.
Got a bit greedy. I could have gone to breaks off, but like
not
at
the
this
same,
stage,
is it? It's not the same.
It's no. It was yeah. I think that was CMP as well. I'm not sure if I actually got to it or if I was one off.
It looked pretty close, didn't it?
But yeah, you kind of have to go for it. But yeah, at this stage, Umbreon against Lairon of a shield, it's like game over for sure.
Yeah, as we were saying, apart from the fairies, there's not much that takes Umbreon on with a shield.
Umbreon can pretty much kill anything other than a fairy in an even shield scenario. So yeah, that's why everyone had it in their teams.
Yeah. And that's why Last Resort was so big as well, wasn't it? Because if you didn't have Last Resort, you're going to lose the mirror.
You'd lose the mirror, yeah, for sure. So that's why I never brought mine.
Yeah, I think at the time I did have a Last Resort Umbreon, but it was ranked like 3,600 or something. It was really bad, really bad. And so I'm sure on one occasion I lost to a good Umbreon that didn't have Last Resort.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they had the. So I'm sure I ran into someone running Dark Pulse and Foul Play, and then the extra damage from Dark Pulse over Foul Play. I'm sure I remember once losing to that. But
so the Dark Pulse plus the bulk outdid your last resort one.
On
That's
a
pretty insane.
idea. Yeah, I might be wrong. I just seem to remember that happening.
Yeah.
Because at one point I then switched mid-cup to Shelgon because I was so disappointed with the Umbreon.
It is a very IVs dependent Pokemon.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, because it just has so much defense. So
round 4, Zegra Trubbish.
Yes,
so
our first Suicune of the night.
Suicune was always a nightmare to play.
Yeah, I can't remember if Bubble Beam reduced attack back then or not. I think it did.
It did, for sure.
So it was a super baity Pokemon where you can either shield a Bubble Beam, which did no damage, and your attack would go down, or you'd get Hydro Pumped. So it's very difficult to play around. But the rest of this team is pretty like you can see Umbreon, Ninetales, and Bibarel in pretty much every team, and Nidoqueen.
Yeah.
And yeah, so pretty much the same. I think I bring Lairon in again, just for Ninetales and Nidoqueen. I'm not sure, but I think Shelgon. Yeah, so probably lead Shelgon or my fairy.
I guess Shelgon's nice here because with the resistance to the Hydro Pump, it's probably not going to take as much as Umbreon might.
Again, for sure.
Again, we know you're not using Umbreon, but you're supposed to. So
yeah.
Right. Well, let's have a look. Gramble. So, as you were saying earlier, leading it, you get the benefit of having shields to protect it.
Yeah, for sure. I was kind of expecting him to switch there, so I was just having the switch ready. But I think he just stays in. And I'm down to shield, but I have switch advantage and I have energy.
And he has to shield this, really.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt. Yeah.
It's neutral damage, but yeah, it hurts. And now I can just farm this down of Lairon. And he switches. And because, like, even though Lairon is still okay, like, I think Shelgon and Lairon, I think, are the same, like, effectiveness against Umbreon.
Sure.
But just because, you know, there's a fairy in the back, this is going to be Shelgon's best matchup. So I just switch it in immediately and try to get as much utility out of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm pretty sure he's going to lose anyway.
Yeah. Any matchup's better for Shelgon than the fairy.
Yeah, for sure. So I just switch in immediately. But I do manage to get both shields down. And I can just use my energy here because I'm not going to need it for the Ninetales, because I can just farm it down because it's not going to do anything. But I just finish it off anyway with the Body Slam. I don't think it's going to kill it though. It's just one attack away.
Yeah, so there's the importance of switch advantage when it's the hard countery matchups that we were talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's switch advantage when there are like hard counters involved is very important. So this time I lose the lead, so I just go into my safe switch, which is the Shelgon. Don't shield here. Pretty comfortable that it was a Surf. And then he switches in his Umbreon. Confident he wouldn't shield this, so I just go for the Flamethrower, which does a bit more damage. And I think I just let this go. No? Okay, I shield it. And he went for Last Resort here. Don't know why. Definitely want to use your foul play there. And then I try to go for Twister, and I get the shield off here this time. I think if you didn't shield that, I would have shielded here again and just farm it down.
Sure.
So I am able to do so.
Because again, it's important to win the switch there, so you don't end up with Ibril versus Lairon again.
I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't give it a second move, or maybe he was just didn't do his homework and he wasn't really sure possibly what the best move was. I mean,
it's a 75,000 Stardust second move.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
So given that the Lanoon is up energy, I didn't want to come in with Vaporeon because this Grass Knot would have just wiped it out. He switches out, and same thing as the previous game. This is going to be the best time for Vaporeon to do anything because it will just straight up lose to Lanoon. Go for the shield bait, which is successful. I thought he'd it's the final hour. He's going to use his shields. But I think at this stage it doesn't really matter. I think it's just any damage is going to help. So I'm just like, I need to go for this Aqua Tail because he's going to get to his. I think Surf would have killed me from here. So
good call.
He does barely manage to survive. But that extra Water Gun isn't going to do too much. I was actually a bit panicky. I thought he had energy, so I just went Body Slam here. But he actually used his Grass Knot and then switched, so barely managed to take the win there. Otherwise, I would have gone to Rock Slide, but very close game.
No sweet goodness of yet.
So third game, 2 games won in the bag. I just go, let's go lead for it, and same thing with him.
Yeah.
So something I like to do when like going for a big move is not shielding, and then that kind of gives them incentive to not shield as well.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing.
But my Hyper Beam does more than his Hydro Pump.
Nice.
Which is nice. So yeah, it's pretty good. And then he comes in with the barrel. Can't get that. Go in with the Shelgon just in case he has Umbreon in the back. Like I said, Umbreon Shelgon Amber Barrel would have killed him with shields there, but just in case he had Umbreon in the back.
Yep.
Or another fairy. So he switches out and I lock in, and from here it's pretty much game. Because all our shields are still up.
Yep. Charms will just out damage the water guns.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's just one more charm. I
Or a
don't know
couple
why.
of dragon breaths.
Yeah, sure. Or dragon breaths, either way.
Yeah, nice.
So
3-0.
that's 3-1 now, and now
So the next one. So this is to stop the sweep. I'm not going to try and pronounce this guy's name. He came down with you to the Leeds.
Yeah, I don't think even he knows how to pronounce it, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually played him in that tournament. I remember speaking to him about that. Yeah, fantastic name.
Yeah.
Another Suicune.
And a Minim this time.
Yeah. Vaporeon as well, so double water.
Yeah, Minim's quite good because I think depending on shield baiting with the discharge and thunderbolt and certain breakpoints, it can actually kill Umbreon in the 2 shields.
Yep.
I actually had a shiny Minim that I wanted to use that my friend traded me, but I accidentally overpowered it up to 1507. I was so mad. It was like level 38 as well. It's just so much dust.
I've got a it was a level 2 shiny Minim. It was rank 70-ish as well, so it was a good one as well.
That's good. That's a good shiny.
I thought
it's a lot of dust.
I'm not putting 350,000 Stardust or whatever it was into that.
It's so much dust. You'll never use it again. It's a Minim.
Exactly. Yeah. So I did use Minim in one tournament, but I just found a reasonably good IV one that was close to level 38 or whatever, and just powered that up a bit. But it didn't merit the 350,000 dust.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was a bit scared to bring in Vaporeon because of the Minim.
Sure.
Even though I was kind of expecting Nidoqueen, just for my Lairon and my Fairy. It's the only fairy count, hard fairy counter. So, but yeah, and I was a bit worried about the Suicune, but I don't think he brought it in the end.
Let's have a look then.
Yeah. Oh, I think the first time we can actually see what I'm picking. So yeah, one of my old teams, leading with my Fairy and having the Shelgon as my safe switch. Yeah. Let's see if I can pull that off this time. So I know I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Get it low enough, and then but he switches out just in time, so I couldn't get the. I think the reason normally I do it a bit later, but because I messed up last time, I did it a bit earlier, but then that gave him enough time to switch.
Yeah. Because I remember you almost had to stop attacking to switch, didn't you?
You had to stop. It was awful. But then that gave your opponent, it's like, oh, he stopped attacking, he's gonna switch. So it gave them that few extra.
Yeah, they could react to that, couldn't they?
I do manage to trade shields here, which isn't awful, but I'm still worried about that Fairy in the back, even though it's quite low, but it does have a lot of energy.
Yeah, and the Dragon Breaths aren't going to do much to it either.
And I was actually expecting the Fairy to come in there in the Shelgon, so I just insta switch to mine, so I could maybe charm it down, because it actually took a few Metal Claws from my Lairon, but it was actually Nidoqueen, so that just killed my Fairy in one hit.
Yeah, no, I think that was a good play though. I think it was the right play. Just unlucky that your opponent. I'm
not sure if he was next leveling me or if he was just bringing. Yeah. I lost the first game there.
And this is to stop the sweep, of course, as well, to force the tie.
Yeah. And I think he was 4-0 at the time as well. So yeah, because of my extra bulk, I am able to get this flamethrower off just before dying.
Nice.
I found that out against another matchup. So I've been using it in this tournament. I think I use it this round and the next round. So now I'm up shields. And could just go for the body slam here. He doesn't shield. And then I switch into my Vaporeon. I know I can use that layer on later on. With the mirror, with like a health advantage and shield advantage, I was confident I can win, but it's still very like shield baity dependent.
Sure.
I think he shields this. Nope. Okay. So managed to get that off. And I think he comes back in with Ninetales. And he decides to use his energy there, so I'm like, sure, you can take that. I'll keep my shields, and I can farm this down with Lairon.
Oh, this is nice.
This is pretty good. So with the 2 shields and the resistance to poison jab, I can just body slam this down.
Yeah. Those poison jabs are doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. If he had Bibarel at the back... Wait, did we already see Bibarel? No. No, he has Vaporeon, not Bibarel. Yeah. So, yeah. If he had Umbreon, I'm not sure if the extra shield would have helped, but...
Yeah, even Suicune and Menin as well, because the Metal Claws would be resistive. So that worked out nicely for you.
Yeah, so pretty lucky at the end. Yeah.
I'm sure in the moment you would have brought that 3, knowing that if with some sort of prediction as to what you might have thrown or whatever. But oh, we got that lead again.
Yeah, we got the lead again. So do the exact same thing. Take lead, take switch advantage or take shield advantage.
Yeah.
Either way is good. And I think I brought in Ferret this time. And basically the same thing. I can just farm this down. And I'm expecting Vaporeon after this. So I think I just Rock Slide immediately. And hoping he doesn't shield. Because I think at the time when you use your move, if you switch in and there's a move, it's like blind move. You don't because I think now we can see what is coming in, but back then you didn't know what was coming. If you decided to use your move on the switch, it was a complete like random. So I was kind of like hoping he wouldn't shield because he didn't know what was coming in. So at this stage, I knew the only way I was gonna win was to bait
and land the Hyper Beam.
Yeah, and I didn't have Hyper Beam ready. But I think he was expecting Dig, which would have
of course, it. Yeah.
But I am able to get to the Hyper Beam.
Nice. What a way to win.
What a way to win the finals. So
nice.
Yeah, there's a few get beams there in that tournament. So
I think to tie for first in a tournament that had such a well-defined meta, when while you were using off-meta stuff with, as you were saying, that not ideal IVs, fantastic performance. I think using the in the last round there, using the flamethrower on Shelgon to stay in against the Ninetales, I think that's a really good strategy. I never thought about that at the time.
Yeah.
So as I say, I was using Umbreon, and Umbreon doesn't have that trick. So I was just switching out and losing switch advantage left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
So that's maybe where I went wrong.
Yeah.
So, 4-1.
So as you can see, he still won because I think
tiebreaker.
So.
Yeah, but it doesn't show that on your trainer.
Yeah,
card,
it doesn't show that on my trainer card. No.
Yeah.
So tied first. I'll take that. But yeah, I was really happy with the result, and I was just especially using off meta stuff and like Layer On and Hyper Beam for it over Dig for it, and things like Gramble. So yeah, that was really cool.
And it sort of proves the point that you were making right at the beginning as well, that whilst IVs are important, it's not as important as practicing the matchups.
Yeah, I think that's more the most important actual practice. I think there was Sinister was before Ferocious, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So I think on my local, in the same server, I think on the day of our Sinister Cup, I was just asking one of the guys how his team was, and he's like, oh, I powered up this Poliwrath today because I couldn't find a better one. I'm like, wait, you powered it up today? And I was actually kind of like baffled and mad that he didn't like practice of it. So I was kind of like doing that as like a sort of lesson to the local players that practicing your team is more important than having a really good IV team, because that will pay off dividends in the end. Yeah. Having said that, I don't think I would have pulled off that flamethrower thing if that wasn't a rank 95.
Yeah, without the good IVs.
Yeah, it matters when it matters.
Yeah, that's it. IVs don't matter until you lose because of them. Yeah, that's
because of them. Yeah.
Although that said, I've recently switched to a rank 1 Azumarill for GBL, and
oh wow,
the amount of times I've lived on a tiny little slither, and the rank 1 has an extra 3 HP to the other one I was using. So the amount of times that's won me a game has been actually quite impressive. But as you say, once you get to the sort of high level stuff, it's really fine margins. But
yeah, I think that I ran into that as well in I think the mirror version of Twilight Cup, I believe. So I was using Azumarill against Golbat, and I would barely survive a poison Fang and get an Ice Beam off. Like actually 2 games in a row where I'm on like a couple of HP and I get the Ice Beam off. What rank was your Azumarill like before you improved it?
Like 47, 57. So like you're still good, but even such a minute difference has made a big difference. But again, that's
I think things for like Toxicroak and Blaziken, like a rank 1 and a rank 50 or 47 wouldn't make much difference. Things like Azumarill and Umbreon and Steelix and Skarmory that have so much HP or defense actually like adds up in the end of the day.
Yeah, and certainly now CMP is attack weighted. With things like Toxicroak and Blaziken, you kind of want a little bit of attack. I remember in Rose Cup, I was going to do up a new Probopass and Alolan Marowak because of it, because I wanted better IVs. And it would have cost me 250,000 Stardust, and then I sort of thought, well, do I want these better ones? Because they're just going to lose the mirror.
So you're still gaining something by not like improving it, sort of thing.
Yeah, and like when the mirror's common, like Marowak and Probopass mirrors in Rose Cup for 10 a penny, sort of thing. It can be just as important to have that. I think for GBL you want to go for high rank stuff because the mirror is going to be less common. But if you're running like Toxicroak and Toxic Cup, or like that's going to be like, especially Toxicroak mirrors, it's very common, and it's very, whoever has the most energy or whoever wins CMP is going to win. Because that Mud Bomb pretty much KOs. So the Mud Bomb's doing a ridiculous majority of the damage, isn't it? It's, the counters aren't really going to count towards that. So going forward for the rest of the season, are you hoping to make continentals? I think we're in a similar position. We didn't win our regionals, and we're sort of similar rank globally.
Looking forward to see how Alpha Outcast and I can't remember if it's Shane or if it was Where's My Passport. I believe Alpha Outcast won. He went 5-0 in our regionals, but I can't remember who was second. So I'm looking forward to see how they do in continentals. But yeah, I was obviously bummed not getting the invite, but that was the tournament that got me to elite, so it was kind of like silver lining. So I didn't feel so bad. I was actually quite happy. So I was like, this is fine.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I'm sure I read somewhere about there being 4 continentals now. So hopefully that'll open up an extra few spots for players like yourself and I, who
4 continentals.
I'm sure I might be making that up. I might even have dreamt that. But
keep dreaming.
Yeah. But fingers crossed. Yeah. So how far did you get in regionals? Was it early loss or final loss?
I lost in the second round.
I
won
was
the
the
other
same.
rounds. Yeah,
that was the same. Not quite as heartbreaking as losing the final or anything like that.
Yeah, I just it was very close. It was the 2 games I lost in the second round was the exact same. It was my Deoxys versus their Toxicroak, and it just kind of outpaced me with the sludge bombs.
Yeah.
They were both very close. Then I kind of realized what she was doing, and then won the 3rd game.
Yeah, same thing happened to me. Too slow to cotton on to what was going on, but then won the 3rd.
Yeah, I was asking her about what her team decision making was. She's like, oh, I just use random Pokemon. I'm like, oh, okay. Cool. That's good to know. Yeah. Nothing I could have done anyway then.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if your opponent doesn't know what they're going to use, how can you? Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's always next season, isn't there? Always next season.
Yeah. I'm really happy how I performed though, because season 1 regionals I did really badly. I think I lost almost every game, and I even got a bye as well. So
okay.
It was just awful. I think I was just really used to playing just my local tournaments, because I think back then everyone just kind of kept to themselves, and there wasn't remote tournaments back then. But yeah, it turns out there are a lot of good players outside of Glasgow as well, which I wasn't used to playing. Sure. Just kind of used to my level, our local level of play, but there are big world out there.
Yeah, and when you play the same people over and over again, you kind of get used to how they play as well, don't you?
Yeah.
So, I know what our regionals, there was it was in Bradford, and there was a few of us went from Leeds, and it got down to myself and Liam in the final, so I was fairly confident. It was nice going into it against someone that you've played a lot, removes that fear of the unknown. But he just squeezed past me in the final. I had not even a slither of health left in the decider. It was horrible. Really, it was heartbreaking. Still not quite over it, as you can tell.
Oh wow. I still get PTSD as well from it. I practiced so much as well, but I was just really I guess I was really tunnel visioned with the meta. Yeah. And my first opponent, using his words, he's like, "Oh, I'm not one of the highest ranked people here." So I just decided to, use a complete off meta team and hope to win them, not through skill, but just
surprise factor.
Surprise factor, yeah. And yeah, he had Dusclops and Ivysaur, and I was just wow. What am I supposed to do with this team? And yeah, I just lost the lead all 3 games. So
not much you can do about that, is there?
Yeah, but
that's
in the past. It's fine.
That's it.
I'm much better now.
You can't win them all either, can you?
You can't win them all.
Right. So
there's always next season.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always next season. And now we have GBL as well, and that's gonna.
Oh, I love GBL. It's not my.
I don't like it either, but it's a separate thing you can go up in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And it's gonna be the official one, so expecting
Yeah, you stream GBL, don't you? I'll put a link to your.
Yeah,
your
I stream
streams.
GBL. I'll be streaming tomorrow, 10 p.m.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think this will be up by tomorrow at 10 p.m. But I'll.
That's true. That won't be.
But I'll leave the link there anyway, so people can.
But yeah.
Check out previous streams. But yeah. No, thanks.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
No, but other than Twitch, I also have a YouTube as well that make Sylph and GBL videos for.
Cool.
As well.
Well, we'll stick links to that in as well.
Sweet.
Well, thanks for joining. And thanks
that was fun.
Thanks for playing out some Ferocious Cup footage. I have none.
It was good to reminisce 6 months ago.
It feels like a long time now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we know it, we'll be month 2 of season 3, and it'll feel even longer. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice one. Catch you later, mate.
All right. Cheers. Thank you.